One of the most incredible monuments still standing from the Roman Empire is this, the Colosseum. And there is some serious lore behind this building, so let's get into it. First of all, it only took 8 years to build. That is how powerful Rome was at the time. But really, the Colosseum served as essentially the blueprint for all modern sporting stadiums. And here's why. There are 80 arches in the Colosseum, and on top of 76 of them, there are these Roman numerals at the top of each arch. These are numbered entrances, so spectators know which arch to enter from to find their seat. The remaining 4 arches were reserved for special spectators or talent, aka the gladiators. If you book the arena tour of the Colosseum, then you get to enter through one of these reserved entrances called the Gladiator Gate. Now, the way the Colosseum was set up, the closer you are to the action, aka the arena, the better the seat. Upper class in the first few rows had these pristine white marble benches. Most of these haven't survived, but there are still some you can see in the Colosseum today. You'll notice inscriptions on the seats indicating row and seat number. And if you were a VIP, you would have your name etched into the actual seat to indicate that you have a reserved spot at the Roman Colosseum. The first box seats also came from the Colosseum. The Roman emperor and his family would sit in the imperial box right in the center. Unfortunately, there are no remains of the imperial box today. So then how do we know it exists? Archaeologists discovered an underground tunnel which they recently restored called the Commodus Passage, which allowed the emperor to reach his box without needing to mingle with the crowd. However, the tunnel's full route remains a mystery, and archaeologists are still working to discover where it originally led. But the architects of the Colosseum truly thought of everything. For example, the arena floor would have been covered with sand to quickly absorb blood. In fact, the ancient word for sand in ancient Roman is arena, which is where we get the word from. They even had this retractable awning that prevented people from frying to a crisp under the hot Roman sun. The awning worked like sails on a ship, and the men operating were actual sailors from the imperial fleet. But the most exciting part of the Colosseum is the part that you can't see below in the Hypogeum, which literally translates to underground. At its peak, the Hypogeum contained 60 capstans, each 2 stories tall and turned by 4 men. These massive lifts could raise animals and scenery throughout the arena at a moment's notice. One of the bigger Colosseum mysteries is, did or didn't they have mock naval battles? If they did, it would have had to occur in the first year before construction of the Hypogeum began, because it would have been impossible afterward. Another reason historians don't believe that naval battles were regularly held at the Colosseum was because the ancient Romans already had another arena for that, the Circus Maximus. This thing could hold up to 250,000 spectators, which remains the largest entertainment venue ever built. In fact, the Circus Maximus was arguably more popular than the Colosseum because it held more popular events like chariot racing. So then why do we only talk about the Colosseum? Because the Colosseum survived and the Circus Maximus didn't.